and now as he wants to secure his purple, but a teammate might break out.
There's no retry for Carl-TZ here, so he's going for the kills instead. Sanford goes in with the penalty zone to zone out Super Marcos. JP trying to tank up the damage, but Sanford's the first man down. TLPH has to disperse, but Owen jumps in and feeds off another double kill to Super Marco.
It's looking like it's going sideways as Carl-TZ goes down.
Sanji has his hands on the Louis, but in this case he has a Valentina that most of the time can only get the Tsunami Slam. Now JP again being the main target of Team Falcons, already committed the Tsunami Slam onto him as Super Marco bursts him down. Sanford from the back, they might be able to catch down Few, but Super Marco picks up a double, a kill onto Few, but a triple from Marco. OM answers back, a double for the MVP, and that's gonna be a 4-for-3.
In a while. This guy has been snubbed as well.
Yeah.
Like for the entire playoffs, I feel.
Falcons
Stomping towards immortality.
Mobile
One
Legends.
game away from the grand finals. Can the Falcons soar in just in time to stop the ascent? Welcome to game number 5. Leo at your service alongside Jose Ingan and Brigida bringing you the action. It's been a while since we've seen Sicilian. How do you feel with this core coming in the hands of the GOAT?
Yeah, it ensures that if ever they don't have a good start, and if they can extend it towards the late game, they can rely on Few to clear out the waves, to clear out the push, and eventually have a comeback for Team Falcons. Super Marco early cast of the flicker out.
Yep, he already had to burn his flicker. Since Carl-TZ's jungling pattern, he was able to go first towards the gold lane. But this is something you would expect from Team Liquid Philippines. It's just why you need double the mindfulness from Team Falcons. But wait, okay.
A flicker for a Purify.
Yeah.
Cross map.
I feel like they'll be okay with that, especially heading into the first objective. Again, Team Liquid Philippines, the way they drafted too, it looks really well in terms of the mid-range capabilities. And Team Falcons, knowing that the Purify won't be available, it could be easier for them to call whoever they want to target in the next team fight.
So far, I'm still counting the moments that Few isn't in harm's way. Because every minute that passes by, that Falcons is still in the game, that Few is actually doing well, gets them closer to victory, gets them closer to equalizing the series.
Yeah, and not to mention Super Marco, assuming he scales up, get the stacks in, even with his Sky Piercer, things would go well for them. But again, the problem still remains for Team Falcons. Even if they have a tanky Fredrin, if OHEM, the MVP, starts to be online, it could be hard for Team Falcons.
Wow. 4-man rotations immediately. They're starting the turtle.
Penalty zone coming in from Sanford here. Who's going to get the turtle? Still going to go in the hands of Kyle-TZ. Now they want to extend their lead by taking down Sanford. Flap-TZ, Infernal Pursuit going to bring him down. Next target is JP as Owen picks up the kill.
2 free kills plus a major objective towards the Falcons. Carl-TZ struggling to get his orange.
Beautiful Dark Wave paired up with a Tsunami Slam. Carl-TZ is getting ganked up by 3 in an amazing start for Team Falcons.
Yep, Team Falcons were quick to decide on what to do. They decided to burst down the turtle. They had 4 members there who were early in terms of the setup, and Carl-TZ wasn't even able to finish getting his orange buffs. He was already forced to provide assistance to Team Liquid Philippines, who then were clearly losing out since they were able to already isolate Sanford. So the past few minutes, like that entire sequence prior, what we're seeing right now, they've been perfectly in favor of Team Falcons.
Yeah,
there seemed to be no plan going into that first turtle. If there was, we didn't see any semblance of it.
Yeah, or it could be disrupted by the good initiation there for Team Falcons. And you guys mentioned that the more this game holds on, the better it is for Team Falcons, considering that Few is on the Sicilian. But what way to, make that power spike faster with a 3-0 start and a 1.8k gold lead?
This is greater than better, man. This is amazing because Falcons is staring down a 2k gold lead, and it seems like Liquid aren't even pressing down on their resources. Like, they're just folding.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with this non-aggressive approach suddenly.
Yeah, everything just falls into place for Team Falcons. The way they were able to force out the Purify for Sanji, and Sanji is someone you expect to be at the turtle fight. It's a completely different scenario if we're talking about how they forced out the flicker from Super Marco, because you know what Super Marco does on the Granger when it comes to the early game. He's just all about farming. He's just all about getting the PPI rich guy.
So far, it seems to be a tandem approach to Team Liquid's comeback in game number 5. They're sending these pairs of heroes to do things on the map, That's top lane, Oheb and Sanji. And it seems like the call is just don't go for the turtle anymore. We already lost.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to look at it, at least for... Oh, wait a minute. There's going to be a Tsunami Slam, but it was Sanji, and Ogwin counters out with his own Tsunami Slam as Kalteezy enters in with the Energy Eruption. Sanford jumps in with the penalty zone. Ogwin quite low, so he has to back off. Kalteezy trying to soak up the damage, but he's getting stunned out by 4 members. He was able to dash in, but Sanford with a final blow to bring off Kalteezy.
It's so similar to what happened earlier, except it's more successful this time. Kalteezy resuming the purple buff he had to let go of just to provide the damage for Team Liquid. Since you did mention it earlier, they're really investing much of their resources onto Oheb because that's where primarily the damage will come from. At most, right now, it's from Carl. So he really has to juggle between balancing his farm and being able to follow up on his team.
He's doing everything again. Just go to things for Kalteezy, keeping TLPH in the game compared to the previous game wherein Team Falcons conceded all neutral objectives. The better part is for TLPH, they're at least doing something. You mentioned that they're sending out mini squads of 2s to try and go for the push and even go for trades. It's looking good still for TLPH.
A minute before another turtle spawns, upper quarter this time. JP gets caught with a Tsunami Slam.
Let's see if JP can out-sustain this. A lot of chain CC. And now feeds off the kill to Super Marco. A conceal to speed things up and try and go for the top lane turret as Kalteezy zones out Sanford.
That's tough. You can't be spotted using the back shield unity. Once they find you doing that, they just cancel it, go for the commit, because there's no way for JV to escape those kinds of scenarios. He's only on the Revitalize, so he can be a potential easy target for Team Falcons when they're always grouped up together.
That's the hard pill to swallow, is the Baksha has no out. He has an in, clearly. The Baksha Unite, the Revitalize, but no way out, so you have to be careful. So far, still approaching 3K ahead, about the same spot we saw Falcons last 2 or 3 minutes ago, and that translates to about 1,000 between Oheb and Marco. Kalteezy looking to isolate flat, but he's too chunky.
Yeah, old teammates having a 1v1 down bottom as Kalteezy works on this turtle. Now Team Falcons will be able to respond there. And it looked like TLPH again will concede this neutral objectives as Falcons secure the turtle.
They're letting it up. They also know that Kalteezy still has something to accomplish down bottom. And now, as he wants to secure his purple buff, a team might break out.
There's no Reggie for Kalteezy here, so he's going for the kills instead. Sanford goes in with the penalty zone to zone out Super Marcos. JP trying to tank up the damage, but Sanford is the first man down. TLPH has to disperse, but Owen jumps in and feeds off another double kill to Super Marco.
It's looking like it's going sideways as Kalteezy goes down. Super Marco going with a triple.
Triple kill for Super Marco. Even expended the flicker to make sure he catches Kalteezy. And now that's going to be a 7-1 scoreboard for Team Falcons as they focus their attention on the middle lane.
Oh, Team Liquid, they tried to do so much just so Oheb could also get his early power spike. I mean, they handed over the energy shields. If it's just that, they provided the assistance that was necessary for him to somewhat manage the lane a bit better. But now, look at how they're the first to lose their tier 1 turrets. Look at how he's now 2K behind Super Marco with that 4-0 KDA.
Marco chasing down Liquid like they owe him money. Currently at about 400 stacks, 40 Skypiercer stacks as well. It's an unbothered game for Super Marco, not to mention for Few.
Yeah, Few's having the time of his life. He's the late game insurance that they need, even if they're not even sure if it's going to reach the late game with how things are going for Team Falcons. Ogwin also, almost all his setups are connecting and transitioning not just to kills, but to objective takedown. That's why all first-tier turrets, as you mentioned, are gone for TLPH.
Yep, they have so many ways to start things up, but they have so many unanswered problems. Now that, or if ever they do decide to engage in a fight, if ever JP decides to jump on someone, that's not gonna be Few. There's no way it's gonna be Few, not unless he puts himself in a dangerous position. It's always gonna be either Flap Kyle or Ogwin, and these are targets who can immediately go for the punish.
Not to mention Few has his Purify off of cooldown, so if ever, some way, somehow, 4D or JP find him, it's a simple battle spell, ult, walk away. Free Lord here, going over to Falcons as top lane just gets stolen away by Liquid. It's the only thing they can do.
Yeah, at this point, TLPH is happy with that. They didn't overcommit and try to go for at least kill trades for that Lord take after Team Falcons got in. At this point, they were able to push down at least one turret up top. But the problem remains as a 5k gold lead for Team Falcons.
Yep. They'll have to defend this upcoming Lord. They do have the resources, but Kyle TZ might he go for a pickoff?
Energy Eruption. Okay, Sanji jumps in with his stolen Tsunami Slam, but he had to pop his Purify. So again, no Purify for Sanji in a crucial defense for the Cavalry.
Liquid has to counter blessings. Number 1, Sanji survives. Number 2, they're keeping bottom lane tier 2. Number 3 is they're making good time here to defend the Lord. They'll have to sacrifice his tier 2 up top, holy defense in mid, but that's all in the face of inevitable defeat.
Whoa.
Falcons are slowly rolling up inside their base.
Yeah, interestingly enough though, I think this is something you would expect in a Joy Fredrin matchup. The gold seems to favor Carl TZ nonetheless, but wait!
Ogwen jumps in and immediately they burst down Sanford. Just look at the damage from the whole squad of Team Falcons. Despite the revitalize of JP, he's quite low. Now Sanji desperately trying to defend that. Oheb had to pop his Purify there, but they do, however, be able to clear out the Lord.
Oh, turret's not gonna stay. That's penetrated top lane. Oh, might be a kill!
And Flaptisi jumps in and feeds off the kill again to Super Marco, but in exchange for Ogwen. And now Sanji as well is gone. Carl Tizzy trying to defend the mid lane turret, and they will do so successfully. But Kyle Tizzy again jumps in. He was able to dodge out the Energy Eruption and save out their mid lane turret.
They had to sacrifice so much! The way they were trying to hold on that top lane turret, but they had to give up JP, they had to give up Sanji, and there are just so many ways for Falcons to hold down any member of Team Liquid if they wanted to. So few is just too free!
Flaptisi, Winter Crown play mid-air to try and save himself as Kyle Tizzy jumps in again and catches Sanford. Super Marco delivering the bullets. JP quite low, Death Sonata, but Super Marco stops there. That was just a warning shot.
Here's the painful truth. Liquid aren't even halfway ready to pick a fight with Falcons. You saw how Oheb was just struggling to stay in that fight throughout the pinwheel, throughout the ult, and nothing. Falcons just kept walking up.
It's another conceal from Ogwen too. He doesn't have the flicker, but that's already enough. So they could zone away the members of Team Liquid and take down this mid lane turret. So whatever they were trying to defend and hold on to, one by one, they're slowly disappearing from their eyes.
8K. Now Falcons looking at an 8K gold lead with the Lord spawning in the upper quarter. I don't know. All right, we've seen crazier things happen in the playoffs, but Liquid, it would be wise not to try and contest.
Yeah, I mean, crazy things happen, especially if Sanji has his hands on the Louis, but in this case he has a Valentina that most of the time can only get the Tsunami Slam. Now JP again being the main target of Team Falcons, already committed the Tsunami Slam onto him as Super Marco bursts him down. Sanford from the back, they might be able to catch down Few, but Super Marco picks up a double, a kill onto Few, but a triple from Marco. OM answers back, a double for the MVP, and that's gonna be a 4-for-3 trade.
That's a bargain for Team Liquid Philippines, and this puts them in a position wherein they're confident that Falcons won't burst the Lord. There's nobody to take it.
Yeah, and at least it was enough time bought for Team Liquid Philippines. At that point, they were forced to attack because Ogwen already committed the Tsunami Slam to JP.
Yep, and you're starting to see the pattern. So far now that Team Liquid Philippines, they're starting to feel the damage from Oheb. You cannot simply go for JP whenever you wanted to. You have to take into account wherever the other members of Team Liquid Philippines are, because Oheb can just throw out those shurikens and just deal the damage, especially towards the other members of Team Falcons. And that's also including Carl TZ, who can just dash through everyone and go to whoever he wants to target.
Okay, maybe 5 minutes ago they weren't halfway. Now they're approaching that point. Oheb hurts. Lord, now at about a fourth of its health, a fifth, and it gets a soft reset. Kyle TZ lets it go.
Let's see if TLPH can put out a miracle here up against Team Falcons. They were able to dwindle down the lead of Team Falcons. Sanji quite low, so he has to back off. They're bursting down the Lord. TLPH concedes.
Yep. They can't risk it. Sanji was too low. And if Team Falcons did force out a team fight, which is possible that they do, it's likely that they do, since they already took note of how Sanji was already poked down, then it could have been worse for Team Liquid. They barely have any turrets remaining in their base. And now all they have to do is hold on to their defense capabilities.
Literally just one turret, bottom lane. Liquid has to use that turret, the inhibitor, to buy time and fight, because Again, the only real way I see Liquid coming back from this and even surviving to defend is by turning on Falcons. So they're going to need to use that turret to try and get extra firepower from the extra damage, because Falcons is such a chunky lineup coming in.
But is there enough time for TLPH to reach that time?
Oh.
A conceal for both of these teams as the Lord sieges in to the middle lane. Owen waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. The Sanguine Claws are also connecting. Kyle TZ jumps in. No more inhibitor turrets for TLPH.
They buy time. They use that turret like a meat shield.
We're just being reminded of how terrifying a Granger Sicilian combo is. Now, Team Liquid Philippines are clearly struggling to deal with it.
Owen jumps in. There comes the Tsunami Slam. They're trying to burst down JP alongside Sanford. Calls easy from the back. He catches Phil and brings him down. Winter Crown plays from Team Falcons, but they cannot out-sustain it. Carl TZ is going to fall down. A mega kill for OM, but Falcons, Super Marco is there. JP alone and Team Falcons, they survive this series.
Not so fast. Match point ain't nothing. The game continues. Falcons score 3-2.
Whoa. At first, this cannot end with a sweep. And now it also cannot end in just 4 or 5 games.
This is why they call them Titans of